Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Once in a Wild Wednesday. It's me, Amanda, and if you've never been on the show before, this is Once in a Wild, and we are a mobile zoo based in San Antonio, Texas, but we're also virtual all over the country and all over the planet. As long as you have internet, you can feel free to tune in and chime in and ask your questions, and even book us for a Zoom room animal encounter, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. We are fully virtual at this time, and we have many animals for you guys to meet virtually or in person if you happen to be right here in the San Antonio, Texas area. We are back at it again, and we've been very, very busy. If you are interested in a classroom program, that's something that we specialize in this time of year, of course, is classroom educational programs for those kids or adults. If you happen to be in class as well, maybe you're in college, who knows? Our programs are for all ages, all the way from the very, very young, all the way to the very young at heart, but not so young, if you know what I mean. So please let us know if you happen to be interested. I see a couple of people are already watching. Hello, Tanja. It's so nice to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you on the live stream. I know you are obviously one of our top fans, but it's been a while since I've actually seen you on. So I'm very, very happy that you are here. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to join. I only have a couple of people watching so far. We do broadcast these live streams every single Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Texas. That's our time zone. And we hope to see a whole bunch of friends, family, and followers chiming in. Hello, you love my shirt? I got it at Old Navy. They are basically winning when it comes to men's shirts. This happens to be a men's shirt. It is an extra small. I absolutely love this shirt. I knew I had to have it immediately. Ricky actually picked it up, but I was like, that's mine, and they didn't have his size anyway. So yeah, that's where I got that, was Old Navy. Yeah, so hopefully they have some more left. It was on the sale rack though, so good luck. Maybe they have them online, but you need one. I know this is your stylish shirt. I was thinking of you personally when I bought this shirt. And I knew it'd be perfect for the show. We need to spice up our show a little bit and have different shirts. So let's go ahead and begin the show. I see a few people watching. Annie, you have that shirt too. I know you're a big Chameleon fan. That's so funny. Did you get it? It's a men's shirt, so it's for you though. Is you wear it? That's so cute. Me too. Same. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and begin. Are you guys as excited as I am to start the show? It feels like it's been forever since I've been on the live stream, although we've been very, very busy. So if you are interested in your own personal virtual animal encounter, please let us know ASAP so we can get you in the schedule, because our schedule is filling up very, very fast. We're pretty much all booked up for October. We got a few spots here and there in October that are available. So let me know if you're interested. Let me play you our commercial for that while I'm talking about that. Why not? That way you guys can learn all about those Zoom rooms. If you've never heard of them before, or if somebody is watching this video again, they can watch this commercial, of course, and that will let you guys know all about that without me having to explain it over and over again, right? Here we go. Stuck in the house with nothing to do? Did your students miss their fun field trip that was planned for them? Are you looking for a fun team building activity for your employees that are stuck in the house with the same old Zoom meetings from day in and day out? Was your child's birthday party canceled this year because you're stuck in quarantine? Well, then we got the solution for you. Our Zoom Room Animal Encounters are a great solution for you. In Zoom Room virtual animal encounters, you can bring the zoo to you, but from the safety of your own home. They are fully customizable, and you can invite all your friends to join in and meet all the animals. They are fun, unique, and very interactive. It's also a great learning opportunity. And most of all, it's very, very simple. Just contact us to book your appointment and schedule your Zoom room. Then select the animals you would like to attend in your Zoom Room Animal Encounter, and then send the link to all of your friends and family who are invited to the Zoom room that we provide to your email. And best of all, we can bring the animals to anyone, anywhere, all over the world. So visit us at onceinawild.com or call us today. We can't wait to see you. Yay! That was the best commercial ever, don't you guys think? My favorite part about the commercial is Pikachu flying in. She's so precious, and she's one of my favorites, of course. Way to go, Ricky. Yeah, I guess, for finding the shirt. He really wanted it for himself, but they only had an extra small, I think, available at the time, and I was like, I am taking that. So I did, and I'm glad I did. It looks great against this purple backdrop, if I do say so myself. I love it. So how have you guys been doing? Feel free to chime in with your questions, comments, and anything at all you want to tell us. It would be great to just hear from you guys and let me know that you're doing well. And I hope you are doing well. Hope everything's going okay. I hope everybody's hanging in there. We sure are trying to hang in there as well. It is what it is, but we are trying to stay busy. We are definitely getting a lot of bookings, which is great. But the more the merrier. If you guys are interested in that Zoom room or in-person animal encounter, please let us know. Also, our programs every Wednesday are free of charge. These live streams that you're hanging out with us right now on are free, but we do have a few ways to donate, which are number one, Venmo, which is at Once in a Wild, Cash App, which is $ Once in a Wild, and over at PayPal, which is also at Once in a Wild. We also have our Amazon wish list over on the website, which is onceinawild.com. Of course, you guys know that. Over on that website, you can click the donate to the Amazon wish list. Simple enough, and you can donate some items to our animals, which is always much appreciated. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and start with our animal encounter, right? That's what you guys have come here to see, other than me, I guess. Well, so nice to see you guys as well. But Tanja, I brought your favorite animal on the show today, and I'm so sorry about it. Of course, you showed up for the show where we have your favorite animal, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. I hope you guys have been doing well. It looks like we are broadcasting, by the way, on Facebook and YouTube, which is where we usually are every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. A couple of weeks ago, or was it last week? I think it was last week. We had some technical difficulties with Facebook. I blame Facebook. I don't think I did anything different than I normally do. So let's meet our first animal. Sorry, Tanja. It's going to be a frog. I brought Frances on the show. She hasn't been on the show in a while. Now, we are pretty sure that Frances is a female frog because Frances doesn't really say very much. I have never heard Frances vocalize. This is an African bullfrog, also known as the pixie frog. You might be wondering, why the heck is it called a pixie frog? It's a pretty big frog, and all bullfrogs are big. That's why they call them the bullfrog. They're great big frogs, and they make kind of a deep voiced noise, right? Kind of like a burp. But bullfrogs are big. That's why they call them that. African pixie frogs or African bullfrogs are no different. They are very, very large frogs. In fact, they can get the size of a dinner plate, and they are very robust and round, rotund, fat, all the above, all those words for big. And they're very round and just very unique looking. Very cool. The males are larger than females. Which is actually pretty unique in the frog world. Most of the time, females are bigger than males. Isn't that interesting? That's typically to be able to carry the young and all of that. But that is typically the case with most frog species. But this species is very different. The males are quite larger than the females. And the males do vocalize. That's one reason why we think that this frog right here, Frances, is a girl frog, because I have never heard Frances singing in the night. They usually overnight will at least make some noises if they're boys. Now, if that changes and as this frog matures, maybe we will hear some singing in the night and then I will be wrong. But typically that does mean by this age, he or she should be saying something, if male. So I'm guessing female. That is my best guess. Again, it's hard to tell at this age. This is a young African bullfrog, aka pixie frog. And they do live into their 20s or 30s. They are a very, very long-lived frog. Sorry, Tanja. Tanja says, "Aw, Frances is kind of cute." Tanja is not a big fan of frogs for whatever reason, and that's okay. Some people don't care for frogs. But frogs are really, really important animals, regardless if you like them or not. We'll talk about that at the end. But I was going to say something. I get so distracted by y'all's cute comments. But these guys, like I said, they vocalize as they're male. Of course, they're singing to attract females or to defend their territories. Now, the reason they call them a pixie frog is part of their scientific name, Pixiecephalus, which means small head. So that makes a lot more sense, right? Small head, big fat body. That's just how this frog is shaped. So Pixiecephalus, small head, makes much more sense than just pixie frog, but it just became shortened to pixie frog. But I like to call them the African bullfrog. They are really cool. They are one of the few type of frogs that have true teeth. A lot of frogs do have teeth on their top jaw. I believe most frogs have, that's where their teeth are located. But their teeth are typically pretty benign when it comes to a frog. Now, the bigger the frog, the bigger the teeth, of course. But this type of frog has huge teeth on their bottom jaw. And how they use their teeth, or what they use their teeth for, I should say, is for defense and to defend themselves against their other fellow frogs as well. They have 3 very spiky vampire-looking teeth on their bottom jaw they can use to stab their enemies or other male bullfrogs or other female bullfrogs, etc. Thank you, Donna, for tagging all of your friends. You're always so good about that. Oh, here's a great question from Richard. Hello, Richard. So nice to see you. Why does her mouth move in and out? So that little throat action down there where the white is. So if you see a frog kind of just moving their throat up and down like that, that indicates that they are smelling or at least breathing. But typically that means that they are sniffing. So that actually is the same for a tortoise as well. Tortoises move their throat up and down like that too. And if a male frog wants to sing to attract ladies or defend his territory or whatever, just talk, that is also how they're going to make noise as well. They fill that little throat area full of air and then push it back out again, and it makes a kind of a burp sound when it comes to being this frog. Other frogs make different sounds, and that is actually one really great way for scientists and even you, if you learn which ones are which, to identify which frogs are in your area. There are frogs all over the planet except for Antarctica. Frogs are extremely important, and they exist all over the place. So you can actually hear at night some of those male frogs singing. They're typically going to do that seasonally, of course, because they only breed seasonally. So like when the water is plentiful and things like that. Now, speaking of seasonally, this is not a bullfrog you would find in the United States. So in the United States and other countries like that, we have 4 seasons, right? But in Africa, they do not. They have 2 seasons. One is the wet season and one is the dry season. So during the dry season, this animal will actually hibernate underground. They will dig themselves a burrow underground, a nice cozy burrow to hide for the majority of the dry season. They will go underneath and they will basically just wait. And how they survive through that dry period of time, because again, they are amphibians and they must remain moisturized somehow. So what they're going to do, it's really gross. Are you ready? They're going to create a slime bag out of their own snot. Disgusting. I don't like snot very much, but it is what it is. That's how they survive. You got to do what you got to do in the wild, I suppose. I'm glad I don't live in the wild. I wouldn't want to live in a slime bag of my own snot. Nasty. So what they do is they do that and they cover their whole bodies in that slime bag. They kind of go to sleep for the majority of that dry season, and they will stay at least moisturized enough to survive through that dry season. And as soon as they feel the trickling of water come in down into the burrow from above, I guess they'll be underground and it'll trickle down through the roots and through the dirt and all the mud and things. When they start feeling that water, that's what will wake them up. Settle down, baby girl. That's what will wake them up. And they will start breaking through that slime bag like a little cocoon. So cute. And they will start eating that slime bag off of their own bodies. Not only do they create a slime bag out of their own snot, they will also eat the snot bag off of them, get rid of it, and then they're free again. They can climb out of their burrow and be free and be out on, well, not dry land at that point, it's going to be wetland. And they will find the nearest puddle or stream or river or lake, etc., whatever they can find to be able to get into the water. That's going to help them to stay nice and healthy and moisturized. Like I said, these guys are amphibians, so they must find water to survive. Now, not all amphibians are like that. Some toads and things like that live in the desert, they can survive a lot longer without water. Getting a little wiggly there, Francis. And it's just so cute, guys. Just looked at me like, really? And just like, can I just, chill? Anyway, no, you have a job. and they will go on and find some water, obviously. And the males will start singing to basically establish their new territories or their old territories. Each male will kind of have their own little area. It's called lekking when it comes to, well, with birds. I think it is the same thing with frogs, but they find their own little mini territories and they sing to establish the territory with sound. Hopefully a male will stay out of another male's territory. Otherwise, they're going to fight, and they will use their teeth and some of their brute strength to push each other around and maybe even bite each other until one of them says, hey, never mind, you can have this little area and I will leave. Or they may fight to the death. That's just the way it is. This animal is a solitary animal. Most of the time, they don't live together and they don't like each other. That's just the way it is. Some animals are like that. They're not social. But once they find their territories and they start singing and their territories are established, maybe they fought off a few males here and there, then the lady friends will start coming into the male's territories and they will start breeding. So the males will, both animals will mate, and then the females actually will lay eggs into the water while the male does the rest of the job, if you know what I mean. Got to be fertilized to be able to have some babies. And then those eggs will actually develop in the water, not in the mother's body. So they are going to be developing in the water instead. Isn't that interesting? So outside of the mom. And those eggs will be hopefully fertilized. So if they are fertile, they will hatch. Settle down, little thing. A big thing, medium-sized frog. In between growing right now is kind of juvenile size right now. Anyway, they will hatch out, hopefully, if they are fertilized, and then the tadpoles will come out of those eggs. And tadpoles kind of look like little worms, right? With a larger head on the top, on the front of it. And you guys know what a tadpole looks like, of course. They're fully aquatic. They're going to swim out of the egg. And then what is really neat about the species is they are really good dads. So what happens is mom will lay the eggs and then leave. Maybe those eggs will hatch. Hopefully, right? And then dad will stay there and take care of all of his babies. He's a really good single dad. He has hundreds of babies to take care of and possibly feed. And sometimes mom frog will lay some infertile eggs as well. This happens in a lot of species. And those infertile eggs will actually be food for the tadpoles. Isn't that interesting? So nothing really goes to waste. That's the way the animal kingdom should be, right? Nothing really goes to waste. You need to settle down before you jump out of my hands. So the dad will protect the young, which are the tadpoles, the eggs at first, then the tadpoles, and then they will start to metamorphosize like most amphibians do. And they will lose their gills, which they need to survive underwater. They will grow limbs. They will lose their tail eventually. Now, this species of bullfrog and many species of bullfrog take a long, long time to grow up. It might take them up to 2 years to become what we call an adult phase or the adult, that stage, the life stage of their life. That's what I'm trying to say. So they're not necessarily adult size. Like this is an adult staged frog, but it's not an adult sized frog yet. He or she, we think she, is still juvenile size. But remember, this is a very long-lived frog. So in a few years, it might double, triple, or quadruple its size, depending on the gender. But those tadpoles take a long time to metamorphosize. So they rely on their dad to basically protect them and defend that territory again, right? Make sure there's plenty of water. Sometimes the dry season will come back before those tadpoles can grow up. That makes sense, right? Because it takes up to 2 years. And dad will actually keep digging a canal to make sure that more water comes into the area where his young are. That way they don't dry out too fast. And then they can hopefully metamorphosize and become a frog after becoming a tadpole to polywog and then a frog, right? And then after that, they will go off on their own and establish their own little territories. When the dry season happens, they will hibernate just like their parents did. And that is it. Pretty cool, huh? It's one of my favorite animal parents in the animal kingdom is the dad pixie frog in Africa, the African bullfrog. Let me see. Donna says, yuck. I agree. The slime bag part is really nasty. They have a nose. I know nothing about amphibians. Yes, Tanja, they do have little nostrils. I'm trying to see if I can point them out. I'm making her eye blink. Boop. But also, that's a little nostril right there, kind of at the tip of my finger. See the nostrils right in the front? They have 2 little nostrils. They smell really well. They can actually shut their nostrils. She just did it. I wonder if she will do it again. Their eyes are really awesome while I'm thinking about it. Boop. Their eyes can go into their head like that, almost like a crocodile or an alligator's eye. They also have a third eyelid, which a lot of animals have. Not super unique. See the third eyelid? It can blink on its own or blink with the regular eyelids. So a lot of animals have, we have 2 eyelids, right? We're humans. We don't have third eyelids. Pretty lame that we don't. But third eyelids exist on many, many animals, but especially aquatic type animals because they can use that as a goggle. They can shut just that clear third eyelid. It's called a nictitating membrane. That's the scientific kind of term for it. Nictitating membrane, fun. And they can shut that to not only protect their eye, but also use as a goggle because it is clear. How convenient. Animals such as crocodilians, so alligators, crocodiles, gharial, and caiman, all those guys can shut that nictitating membrane and use it for a goggle underwater. I wish I had that. It's so amazing. But it also helps to clean their eye and protect their eye while they're eating, etc. As you might imagine, this is a carnivore. They do eat other animals. They don't eat salad or fruits and vegetables. Most frogs are like that. In fact, I think all frogs are like that. Now, when they are babies, they might eat algae and other things too while they're growing up. But when it comes to being an adult frog, to my knowledge, all adult frogs are carnivores. So they eat anything from bugs, insects. Whoa, see? That's what I was dreading, but don't worry. This is a very tough animal. And of course, there's like a keyboard right here. She's fine. They just jump really, really strong. Their back legs are pretty strong. Even though they're a round frog, they still have strong back legs, just like any bullfrog. Don't worry, she's all right. I was waiting for that this whole time. It's kind of like when I had the crested gecko on here one time and it just kept jumping towards the camera. It looks super dramatic on camera, but it's really just like a couple of inches. Anyway, well, that happened. I was trying so hard for it not to, but it's just the way it is sometimes. These are animals and they do things. Surprise. What was I saying? So the eyes. Oh, I forgot what I was saying, you guys. Remind me what I was talking about. I'm so distracted. Let's see what your questions are. But they do have nostrils and a sense of smell, to answer your question, Tanja. Their eyes are amazing. They do sink into their head for a couple of reasons. That helps them to protect their eyes while they're eating. Oh, yes, that's what I was talking about. They're carnivores. They eat insects, bugs. They can eat fish. They can eat other frogs and other amphibians. They're definitely cannibalistic sometimes, opportunistically. They can basically just eat whatever goes in front of their mouth and their face. They're very, very opportunistic. They're also very lazy. These guys are, if they're not jumping out of my hands, they pretty much just sit still all the time. They are ambush predators. So they will sit very still for a very long time unless they are defending their territories or defending their young or something like that where they need to move around. Try to do it again. They will basically just sit still and wait for food to come to them because they can go a while without eating, a few days at least, and a few weeks if they have to, and longer when they're hibernating, right? But they will also eat small rodents, birds, anything that comes not by their face that they can fit in their mouth, they're going to try to eat it. So the eyes will sink down into their head to help them push. To help them push food down their throat as well. So that's another reason that frogs use their eye, or well, why the eyes go down, if that makes sense. So the eyes will go down to protect the eyes while they're biting into a prey, because the prey might be kicking and screaming and trying to get away, like I would if I was grabbed by a frog's mouth, right? So that protects their eyes from that happening to them, from them getting injured. And also it helps them to swallow. So simultaneously, they can protect their eyes, they can shut them, and also the eyes sink down into their head. You don't want to do it now? It's like, no. I just want to go soon. And that helps to push their food down their gullet. Isn't that amazing? That is a very strange feature that most animals do not have, is using your eyeballs to swallow. Very weird. What else do you guys have to say? That's unusual for a female to not say anything. Is that what you mean? Oh, you're so hilarious. I know I talk forever. Let's see. Francis is kind of cute. I agree. Thank you, Donna, for tagging so many of your friends that love animals. Those little bitty eyes. I think they have huge eyes. Their eyes are huge. But I guess why you don't like them. This is you're trying to tell me. She is super wiggly today. By the way, I don't recommend handling frogs. I have rinsed my hands with dechlorinated water. So water that is not harmful to their skin, right before picking her up. That's why I started with her, by the way. So these guys are amphibians, and amphibians have slime all over their body, not just during hibernation, but all the time. So all amphibians have at least some slime. Hold still. You're on TV. So they have to maintain moisture all the time. That's why they have slime. And that slime can actually be compromised by our oily, nasty hands that we have as humans. So it's really important not to handle frogs unless you are some kind of expert or animal presenter like myself now and then. I don't hold Francis very often. I always make sure to rinse my hands thoroughly with dechlorinated water. And I've rinsed her off with dechlorinated water, so she had a fresh rinse for the show. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful, gorgeous. I think she's absolutely beautiful as a species and an individual. But it is very important to do that before handling any amphibians, because it's like they sit still and they just explode by jumping away. Oh my goodness, just a little bit longer, sweetheart. Just a little bit longer. See how they can jump forward like that? It's pretty crazy. It kind of startles you. Is that why people don't like frogs? Because they startle you too? Please explain this to me. I think they're adorable. I don't understand the frog phobia thing. But anyway, these guys, it's better to be left alone. If you see a frog, a toad, a salamander, please don't pick them up in the wild, especially. Number one, they're really not going to like that. They're going to be terrified. Unless you're doing a scientific study or some kind of, you're a herpetologist or you're an expert. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the average person. Just enjoy from a distance. Take a photo. If you have a pet frog, also handle them minimally. Always, always, always use dechlorinated water when you're giving them water or misting them, and always rinse your hands with dechlorinated water before handling them minimally as well. I do not handle her unless I have to. Usually for presentations or display, we actually keep her under glass, but it's really hard for you guys to see this beautiful frog behind glass with all these studio lights. So lately I've been attempting to hold her. She's doing pretty well, to be honest with you. This is really, really well-behaved African bullfrog. Let's see what else you guys have to say. I answered Richard's question from earlier. Let's see. Yes, they do have teeth. Super terrifying. Look it up. They have 3 pointy teeth on their bottom jaw, which look like 3 vampire teeth. They're really weird. And I believe they have teeth on their top jaw as well. Ribbit. Indeed, indeed. So cute. I love your frog and heart emojis. Apparently, Bonnie likes frogs, Tanja. Frogs are pretty cool. Did you know that frogs are super duper 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 important? You probably do. So they eat a lot of insects. So these animals, in particular, the African bullfrog, they eat a lot of animals in general. But frogs all over the planet and amphibians all over the planet, they do us a huge, huge favor in a lot of ways. So number one, they're going to eat a lot of bugs. So lots and lots of flies, mosquitoes, roaches, etc. mean more diseases. And Lord knows we need no more diseases to happen this year or in a year to us humans. So it's really important to have animals like frogs. I know we have a lot of mosquitoes in my area in South Texas this time of year and almost all year. It's never really ends. So having more frogs in the area and also bats and other animals that eat mosquitoes is really, really helpful. And honestly, the best form of pest control that you can actually ask for. So having more frogs, not less, is a good thing for getting rid of insects. Another reason why we need amphibians on the planet is because they are an indicator species. What the heck is an indicator species? That means if they start becoming sick or affected by climate change or toxicities in the water or air, or all kinds of things that are negative to the environment, if they become affected, that means that other animals are going to be affected down the line. So they're sometimes the first to become affected. Have you ever heard of the analogy or the turn of phrase or even the real life occurrence of a canary in a coal mine? A canary in a coal mine was basically a way of coal miners back in the old days. Hopefully they don't do this anymore. They would take a canary or a sparrow or another small bird in a small bird cage, take them into the coal mine with them. If that bird started either freaking out, trying to fly all over the place, or died, that would actually be a warning to those people that worked in the coal mine that there was something wrong with fumes or something like that, toxicities in the air. Birds are very sensitive to toxicities as well, but so are amphibians. Amphibians are like the canary in the coal mine for the entire planet. So it's really, really important to have amphibians on the planet, not just for the reason of eating all the bugs and things. They're also food for other animals. This particular frog is food for a lot of animals in Africa. Sorry about it. Good thing you live here with us at Once in a Wild. You don't have to worry about any predators. They do have predators. This is a predator too. They're a medium-sized predator. I don't want to say small because it's not a small frog at all as a species. The pixie frog is pretty large as a frog, as far as frogs go. But they are, small for an African predator. They're definitely not a lion or anything like that. So they do have a lot of predators to worry about. That's partially why they have those teeth to defend themselves. Otherwise, they just get eaten by everything, right? So Richard says, so if she calls her mate a slime bag, is that negative? I guess not when it comes to this animal, because slime bag is pretty normal. In fact, they probably should have a healthy slime bag in order to survive that dry season. So maybe slime bag is like a compliment when it comes to being a pixie frog, huh? Tanja says, what? She's got to get bigger? No! Yes, this frog, I'm hoping will get the size of a dinner plate. I've seen... I'm going to let her go ahead and rest. So she's done such a good job being so patient, being held and everything. But I think she's ready to be set down. So I'm going to say goodbye to Frances. You're welcome, Tanja. Good job, Frances. You did a fantastic job. You can go rest for the rest of the night at least. Probably for a few days. She's going to get bigger? Yes. I'm hoping that she will be a huge frog. That's partially why I went ahead and went with the pixie frog, is to show a huge frog the size of a dinner plate. So with an aerial view, if you're looking down, they're kind of like this wide. Yeah, I saw one time that was no joke about this white. It's so awesome. Now, typically the males are the ones that get that big. If she is a female, she won't get quite that big, but they will still be large. Yes. Yes, thank you for reminding me. I remembered after I said that. Yes, I'm just going back over your comments and questions. What do they eat? Anything they want. So like all frogs, they eat anything that goes into the front of their face. As long as it's something alive, they will eat worms. They will eat bugs. They will eat fish. They will eat all kinds of things. Other frogs. They will eat birds. They will eat mammals. As long as it will fit in their mouth. It's just like a fish. Most fish are very opportunistic eaters. So if something goes in front of their face and it looks like food and it's alive and wiggling, they're going to eat it. Now, I remember they're ambush predators. So they sit still and wait for their food to pass by. If there's an opportunity of food, they're probably going to take it. The more they eat, the faster they will grow. So yeah, especially in the wild, they want to grow up very, very fast. It takes them up to 2 years to metamorphosize into an adult phase or adult life stage, right? But as far as getting bigger and bigger and bigger, the bigger they get, the more likely they're going to survive more. So being a small frog is definitely more vulnerable than being a big frog. So eating all the time is going to be very important. So Tanja's trying to explain why she has the frog problem. They look ominous, like they're plotting to attack you. So maybe their expression, I can see that. Do they have a long, sticky tongue? They have a short, sticky tongue. So frogs, they eat. Let me show you a video while we're talking about this. Maybe this will explain. I know you want to see a frog eating. I know you want to. Let's see. So let's show you tiny Frances eating a tiny pinky mouse. How about that? Teeny tiny Frances when she was a teeny tiny baby eating a teeny tiny pinky mouse. Super cute. That is a tiny pinky mouse. Yum! Pac-Man. Can you see how they shut their eyes to swallow? Watch this. The big meal for that little frog. See how she's shutting her eyes to try to push the food down? Pretty cool. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Also, if you will notice, it's taken a few attempts to swallow. Almost like a snake. See the nostrils? You can see the nostrils really well in this shot too, Tanja. Also, I love the beginning of this clip, and I'll play it again just to show you one thing. So that's teeny tiny baby Frances when we first got her. So cute. Frances is about 2 or 3 years old now. Remember, they can live into their 30s, so still young. So adorable. Oh my goodness, so tiny. She's grown so much. I'm so happy. So at the beginning of this video, I want you to watch it again. Watch the hands. Watch the front hands. Front legs, hands, whatever they are. See how they use their little hands to guide the food like this? I'm going to play that back again. Watch. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. It's a little thing, guys. So they guide the food, kind of like scooping it up into their mouth, and they basically just gulp the food. They do have a sticky tongue. You're going to see a better video to show that here in a second. They do have a sticky tongue, like most lizards and other animals too. It's pretty sticky. And that helps to, of course, be able to stick to prey as it's walking or swimming by, etc. But they use their little hands. I'm going to get rid of this. They use the little hands to guide the food. And it's not like this with the palms up. It's with the palms down. So they actually will guide the food like this, and their hands kind of go backwards. I kind of have weird backwards fingers too. Maybe I'm a frog. Oh my gosh, maybe I'm a frog. I do eat a lot. But so something will come by and they'll put their tongue out and try to snag it with their sticky tongue. Yes, kind of short sticky tongue, not long like a chameleon or anything like that. And then it'll stick to the tongue. They try to chomp it down with their mouth. Some frogs have teeth and some frogs don't, but most frogs at least have a clamping mouth, which is like a steel trap. And then they shut their eyes to try to swallow, like we saw, right? And they also use their hands, but backwards, like this. Like this. So here's another video I want to show you. Super cool. I get so excited about frogs. How can you not love them? They're amazing predators. Okay, let's share this. This is small Frances, but older than the last video, but younger than now. So in between the first video and now. Pretty awesome, the growth. Okay. Small Francis. That wasn't as much of a sticky tongue maneuver as it was just a gulping, swallowing maneuver. Check out the hand and the eye shutting. It is in slow motion because it happens really fast, as you might imagine. But it has to happen quickly or else that food's going to get away. And they can't lose their opportunity to eat. They might have 100 opportunities to eat and maybe get, I don't know, 10 out of those 100. So they try to gulp it down. Pretty awesome. I'm going to play that again. It looks like spaghetti at the end. Look at the shutting eyes. They use their eyeballs to push the food down the throat. They do eat very large prey. And it comes out the other end pretty large too, let me tell you. Pretty amazing. I never thought that that was a thing until I started keeping frogs. And that was a long time ago. But you don't think of frog feces being big, but it is. Okay, watch this again. Gulp. Sticky tongue came out a little bit, but it does come out. I would say it comes out more when snagging bugs because bugs, of course, are fast. This is a dead mouse that I'm offering. It's a frozen thawed mouse, so it's not alive. But a bug or a worm crawling by, a super worm, cricket, dubia roach, all those things are staple diets for the species. They're going to use the sticky tongue a lot more readily. But yes, they do have that sticky tongue, and you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's learning. It's learning. That's all for the frog, I promise. Yes, go rest, Francis. Ricky says frogs. Frogs are so very important to the natural environment. Unfortunately, frogs all over the world are suffering from being endangered or becoming extinct. There are several funguses, however you want to say that, fungus diseases, of course, global warming affecting them, toxicities in the water, trash. A really awesome way you can help all aquatic to not use plastic straws. Instead, you can use your metal reusable straw and your Yeti with your Once in a Wild sticker, which you can get at onceinawild.com, by the way. We have all kinds of merch on there. Check it out. But you can use reusable cups, water bottles, etc., instead of those plastic one-time water bottles, right? Even if we try to recycle everything that we use, it still doesn't all get recycled, and plastic straws a lot of times end up in the environment again and wreak havoc on all kinds of aquatic life like frogs, sea turtles, all kinds of animals. Honestly, plastic is the bane of our Earth's existence right now, so it's best to not use as much plastic as possible. Another way to help amphibians all over the planet is by using less chemicals. So we want to not spray your yard to get rid of bugs. We want to instead invite bug-eating animals like bats and frogs, etc. You can build a bat box in your yard and put it up in a tree, and bats will come and live in your yard. How cool! And they will eat mosquitoes every single night. You can actually invite frogs into your life if you want to, if you like frogs, by building what we call toad abodes. Toad abodes can be as simple as a pot, like a flower pot, basically cut in half. So we have like a flower pot where the flowers go, right? And then cut it in half like this, and you have two little caves. You can make a cave out of a lot of different things and actually put them all over your garden in your backyard. That gives toads and other more dry weather frogs, if you don't have like a lake in your backyard, I guess, or a pond, those toads especially need somewhere to shelter every day because they're nocturnal and they'll come out at night and eat all of your bugs. Pretty amazing. Another thing that we actually started using was one of those mosquito machines that actually draws the mosquitoes over and sucks them into the machine, as opposed to using chemicals. So there's many alternatives to using chemicals and poisoning all these frogs and poisoning their food, because we're essentially putting poison on their food, and that can't be good for them, right? So that's definitely not great. It's a learning experience. We're all learning how we can be better humans, right? Do we increase the size of the mouse or increase the quantity? You can increase the quantity, but I basically, since I have so many other mouse eating animals, a lot of times when I pull all of my frozen thawed mice for my snake feeding days, I usually do snake feeding days kind of half and half, depending on which snakes I'm feeding. I don't want to feed all my snakes in one day because they all go into shed at the same time. But snake keeping problems. So I split them usually half and half. And typically Francis will get some mice on those days as well, but who knows? The frog will also get bugs throughout the week as well. So you can increase the size of the mouse or the quantity, either way. I've never had this frog not eat for me, except for right here on the live stream. We had a funny video. If you want to check it out on YouTube, by the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're finally over 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Exciting. It's a little thing, guys. So we finally hit over 100 subscribers. Please, let's get to 200. That would be so exciting. So anyway, we do have a past video on there that says frog feeding fail. That was the only time that Frances did not eat. And it was, I think, just stage fright or just maybe being handled and then put down and then trying to be eat. You know, it just wasn't a good scenario, I guess, for her to want to eat. Every other time this frog eats like a garbage disposal, my little garbage disposal. So anytime I have maybe a snake refuse, a small mouse, or, you know, Pinky Fuzzy, this little girl can eat hoppers and small mice now too. Pretty amazing. Anytime refusals, I just offer it to Frances and down the gullet. So either or, you can either offer more or you can offer larger. Hope that answers your question. Will they swallow a mouse while still alive? Yup. So this type of animal, and this is all frogs and most fish too. Most fish will kind of swallow the animal whole and it'll just go down, depending on the fish, I guess. Frogs are not the most polite and they're not the most considerate when it comes to their prey. They will start eating, whether it's wiggling, moving, screaming, kicking, clawing. They just start eating it. They just try to get it down as fast as they can. Gulp, gulp, gulp. And yes, so if the mouse is still alive, yeah, they will start eating it. It's not going to live much longer than that. So it pretty much gets squished by the clamping mouth. But yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I would love to help out Owen. Or I'd love to have Owen help us out. I mean, yeah. So if you want him to spread the word, that would be fantastic. I super duper appreciate that. I hope Owen is watching right now. If not, just tell him hello for us. And maybe someday we can actually meet each other in person. I feel like I know you already. But yes, they will absolutely start eating. They're just like little Pac-Man. In fact, there's such kind of frog called a Pac-Man frog as well. Very similar to the African pixie frog. All right, are you guys ready to meet another animal? I bet you are. I'm going to restart my camera's timer really fast, if you don't mind. I try to do that in between each animal so I don't stop the camera's timer. That would be not great. Okay, are you guys ready to meet another animal? This is an animal that's never been on the show before, so let's see how it goes. Sometimes we have to give our animals a chance to see how they'll do. Just like I decided to go ahead and start holding Frances a little bit more than I used to. She does pretty well. Never a problem. Like I said, still eats and thrives and grows and does fine. You just have to be cautious about that kind of thing. You got to use responsibility and rinse your hands and things like that. Please don't handle frogs if you don't know what you're doing. Speaking of animals you probably shouldn't handle very often. You guys ready to meet a chameleon? I'm wearing my chameleon shirt, and this is a very, very special chameleon that's never been on the show before, but we've had him for a while, and he's about to turn a year old in November. Are you guys excited? So this guy is a young panther chameleon. Like I said, he's about a year old. He's 11 months old now. I had to do that math in my head really fast. Math is not my strong suit. 12 minus 1, Amanda. It's 11. Okay, so in November, he will be a year. And this is a very, very beautiful chameleon. But he's a little bit of a nervous chameleon. But I decided to give him a chance. We did a practice run earlier, and it went really well. And I think he's just going to hang out on my hand the whole time like this. Isn't he gorgeous? This is Thanos. Thanos is a Ambanja panther chameleon. Do you need something to grab on there, buddy? All panther chameleons come from Madagascar, but there are different kinds of panther chameleons. Can you guys see them okay? This is an Ambanja. They are blue and purple and a little bit of white, of course, and some other colors mixed in. They even have red on their face. I don't know how well you can see his red freckles. I'm going to try to see if he can have a better position so you can see him a little better. He's focused on my face. He's a little bit nervous around me. He doesn't like me very much, but I don't take it personally because some chameleons are just like that. We have another panther chameleon named George, who's a blue bar ambelomi panther chameleon, almost the same exact animal, and he's completely different in every way, shape, or form, personality-wise. George is so mellow, so calm. He is very, very used to people, very good with handling. Thanos is definitely not into people, but I thought I would show him to you guys anyway. So these are so gorgeous. He's been doing a lot better. We've been working on our relationship. He is absolutely so handsome. Now, as far as our relationship goes, he still hates me, I'm sure. But he is doing a lot better. He used to just kind of run away and absolutely not want anything to do with handling. Now he at least kind of stays still. And don't worry, we won't handle him too long. These virtual encounters are actually really awesome for this kind of stuff because he doesn't have to travel anywhere to show off, right? He doesn't have to go through the potential stress of traveling, just because he's just not into that sort of thing. We listen to our animals' needs. We listen to what our animals are telling us. If they say, hey, I just do not want to work today, this is absolutely not happening, then we don't force them to do that, right? We try to give them a choice, or we keep things very, very short and brief. We always listen to them because otherwise they're just going to probably never work for us, right? Because why would they? They're not going to enjoy their life. We always want to make sure our animals enjoy their life. Now, this animal eats really well. Does really well, thrives. He's been growing like crazy, super active. He's the total opposite of our other panther chameleon. Our other panther chameleon is quite lazy. He's active, but he's just so much more mellow. It's amazing how different they can be. A lot of people do know. Here I am. A lot of people do not know that reptiles like lizards and even frogs too have personalities. They might be different than a counterpart of the same exact species. Just like dogs and cats and all kinds of animals have their different personalities. Humans too. I know a lot of humans that are totally different than me. So that is pretty fair to assume that reptiles also have different personalities too. It's gonna climb up my arm, I think. Let's focus back this direction then. Oh no, where are you going? Okay. Yes, I saw that. You see that gaping mouth? That's one way he can tell me to, hey, stay back. I'm nervous about this. So we're gonna listen to that and hold him very still. Isn't he gorgeous? So panther chameleons are amazing lizards. They are one of my favorite lizards. Chameleons in general are definitely my favorite type of lizard. Hence the chameleon attire. I'll make sure he's in focus. I want to focus on me and not him. We're trying our best, guys. Technical problems. So chameleons in general are amazing, unique, fantastic animals. Don't leave. Don't leave. Stay here. They are arboreal. They almost never go down to the ground. They may on occasion go down to the ground in an emergency situation. They're going to live in the trees though. So they have everything about them is designed to live in trees. They have a prehensile tail, which is like a fifth limb that they can use for balance, and a truly prehensile limb because they can hold their entire body weight with that tail. It's like a monkey's tail. Some monkeys, that is. Not every monkey has a prehensile tail, but these monkey lizards do for sure. They can hold on to their whole or hold up their whole entire body weight. They can also hold on to objects if they want to, and they can definitely use it for balance and things like that. Their prehensile tail does not come off readily like some other tails of lizards. They don't lose their tail for basically, a defense against predators and things. Their tail cannot regenerate as well. So if he did lose his tail, that would be it. But their tail is extremely strong. They wouldn't necessarily lose their tail very readily at all. In fact, I've never seen a chameleon lose his tail ever. They also have amazing feet. You can probably see he's got very interesting hands and feet. Both his hands and feet are kind of like this. I don't want to spook him too much. But his toes are fused in a certain way where he's got 3 toes fused together and then 2 toes fused together like little mittens. And they are designed to kind of just grip onto tree branches and things as he lives in the trees. He's an arboreal animal, not a terrestrial animal. He also has amazing vision. They have no ears. That is very unusual for lizards. Most lizards do have ears and the ability to hear. These guys do not have the traditional ability to hear. They do have inner ears, but no external ears. They don't hear very well at all, if at all. I've never noticed that they can hear me at all when I'm hanging out in the reptile room or doing anything or been around them. I've been around a ton of chameleons. They're so very visual. They're always looking around. Their vision is amazing. They have great color vision and great keen vision. They can also move their eyes independently, which is very convenient to be able to see around you, especially if you can't hear well, right? They can see all the way around their bodies, and each eye can see independently of the other eye. In fact, inside their brain, they have 2 independent fields of vision, which can see basically like 2 TV screens on either side of their head. It's pretty amazing. Or inside of their brain. To them, I'm sure it's totally natural. They also do have nostrils. I don't know how good their sense of smell is, something to look up. I imagine they probably do have somewhat of a sense of smell, but their vision is so strong, they don't really need much of their other senses. They do have a sense of touch, of course, too. I don't know about their sense of taste either. I imagine it's pretty poor. And what else? These guys are extremely capable of changing color. Now, this is the color that he pretty much is all the time. It is a myth that chameleons can actually change whatever color they want. That is just not true. He's not purple and blue because this is purple behind me. That's just not why. That's just the color that he is. The Mbanjas are this color most of the time. He could turn even more purple as he ages. He's just gorgeous. He's kind of like slender right now. I think he's hoping I don't see him like a tree branch, but usually he's kind of like chunky monkey over here. They do change color though, and they do so with teeny tiny little pore-like properties called iridophores, chromatophores. I think they have both. I could be wrong. I'm always learning all the time, but I think they have both. I think they're chromatophores mostly. But anyway, so what that means is they have they're tiny little pore-like properties in their skin, which can open and close basically to give the illusion that they're changing color. But they're so tiny that it is an optical illusion. Very, very good one. That is actually applicable to lots of lizard species. Lots of lizards can change colors, not just chameleons. But chameleons are the most well known for it and the most dramatic when they do so. So this type of chameleon can turn quite darker than this or quite lighter than this. When they're super duper light colored, they might be trying to reflect some light and get cooler. And if they are dark, they're trying to absorb more light and get warmer, right? They might be a little cold. They might be dark to also indicate that they are stressed. He's kind of in between, so he's really not too stressed right now, according to his coloration. Remember, we're going to keep this brief with him because it's his first time being on the live stream, though. Chameleons are also carnivores, just like the frog. In fact, I brought all carnivores today. I didn't even do that on purpose. Pretty cool. The last animal will also be a carnivore too. This is a carnivore. They are mostly insectivores, but they can eat small rodents. They can eat small lizards, other species, and even their own species with their babies. And they can, they're not great parents. They don't take care of their babies. Their babies got to run away as soon as they're born or hatched in this case. This is an egg-laying chameleon. Not every chameleon is an egg-laying animal, though. But the mom does not take care of her young or anything like that. She lays the eggs and buries them and lets them do their thing on their own. And then the babies run away as soon as they are hatched and try to get away from predators, including potentially other chameleons. They are going to mostly, though, be eating bugs. All kinds of bugs, flying bugs, crawling bugs, worms, all kinds of things. These guys are great at eating all those animals. And what's really awesome about chameleons, we talked about tongues earlier with the frog, right? So chameleons are hanging out in the trees. They're kind of, maybe not moving most of the time, just hanging out. But if they see prey, which might be a bug, they will start kind of walking towards the prey, kind of like this, like inching towards them. That actually mimics the movement of trees and the blowing of the wind, leaves and things like that. That's why they do that motion when they walk, almost like Michael Jackson, right? Walking back and forth. And they will kind of mimic that movement, so they're not even seen by that bug most of the time. And they don't have to be really anywhere near the bug because their tongue is as long as the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail. That is as long. That's how long their tongue is for every species of chameleon that I know of. As they grow, their tongue also extends that length. And that is pretty long. If you take a look at how long he is, his tail is on my pinky finger there, right next to my ring, and right here. And that's how long his tongue stretches out to. So he can actually catapult his tongue all the way out to reach that far away from him and snag a bug. The tip of their tongue is extremely fat and bulbous and gross, and it's very sticky, but it also engulfs the prey. So it's going to wrap around the prey too. It's going to stick to the bug and then whip back into his mouth at lightning speed, super duper fast, before the bug even knows what hit him. It's going to be food. And will come back into his mouth, and then he can crunch it right down, nom, 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 and eat it. You're doing so well, Thanos. Look at Thanos' big chin. That's why we named him Thanos. He's also purple-ish. So, and Thanos the chameleon and Thanos the real life villain. Well, he's not real, but he's real, guys. The one in the movie, they both like to be alone. Chameleons are solitary. He definitely prefers to be alone than me hanging out with him. So that's why I went with Thanos, and I just love the name. So beautiful. I know blue in the animal kingdom is the rarest color. Blue and purple especially. This is the natural color that they are in the wild. Isn't that amazing? There are several subspecies. There are several subspecies of panther chameleon. There's panther chameleons all over Madagascar. And but depending on where in Madagascar you're talking about, You've got different subspecies or localities. So they have evolved different colors. So the blue bar and below me has like every color of the rainbow, like a tie-dye. That's George, our other chameleon you may have seen before. You might have known Freddie from before as well. Those were blue bar and below me panther chameleons. And they're super duper colorful. The Ambanjas are actually my favorite type of panther chameleon because they're so very unique with their blues and purples and a little bit of red on their face as well. You can probably see it almost looks brown in this light, but it's red, maroonish, and he changes colors a little bit. So sometimes that gets brighter. Okay, I'm going to switch arms just because my arm is getting weak. I need to work out, you guys. Okay. Let me address your comments and questions. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. I love, love, love when you guys have comments and questions. Let me get to some of those right now. It's going to be okay. He's gaping his mouth. That can be a defensive posture. I probably brought him a little bit too close to my face. He just got a little spooked, but he's calming down now. Let me see. So beautiful. I agree. Oh, you're so excited to see Thanos. It's his first time debuting on the program. So handsome. Yes. Yes, Tanja knows too. Truth, chameleons can be temperamental. Some are personable, some are meh. Yeah. I think it's just their personalities. I have the same luck with hedgehogs. I've had super duper tame, amazing hedgehogs that just are basically puppy dogs. And both of my hedgehogs really hate these lights in the studio. So every time I bring them into the live stream, they act like they are just crazy. But that's just their personality. They're just not about it. And that just might be the lights in here too. So it's a lot for animals to understand. They don't understand what's going on with all these alien lights in here. I feel like alien abduction or something in here. He is doing great. Yes. If you had seen a year ago or whatever, it wasn't quite a year ago. He's about 11 months. So I want to say 6 to 8 months ago, 6-ish months ago when we got him. Man, he did not want to even stay still. He would just run right off of my hand. And now at least he's tolerating it. So we're making some progress. He is. They have personality for days. Absolutely. You know as well. Reptiles absolutely have personality. Chameleons too, for sure. Snakes too. Let's see. Little alien pinchers. Yes. Speaking of aliens. Absolutely. Yeah, they have those alien hands. They do have claws on each foot. They just have those weird fused toes. Do they normally change colors or only in certain situations? They're kind of always fluctuating a little bit, but their main reason to change colors is communication between them and other chameleons. They might become very territorial. They might become very excited to see a girlfriend or a boyfriend. That is also a thing. So changing colors that way happens too. Really cool to look up. So if they see a rival male, they might change bright colors to scare off that rival male and assert their dominance in their territory. Very territorial, just like the frog we talked about. So that's going to be one reason is communication. Another reason is stress. They might just become darker or lighter depending on what's going on. Another is going to be temperature control, like most lizards that do change color. And a lot of lizards change color. Bearded dragons, let's see, iguanas, all kinds of lizards change color. Not everyone does. So like tegus, for example, don't really change color at will or anything like that. But a lot of them do have those little properties in their skin that can change color for those different reasons. So it's going to be temperature control. So lighter if they're feeling too hot, right, to reflect sunlight. Darker if they're feeling too cold to absorb sunlight. And another one is stress. And another one is communication. So it's not to blend into stuff. So they already have kind of a natural shadowy pattern. That's going to help them blend in just as a default. Most animals do have some sort of camouflage. So in the trees, imagine he's up in the shadows of the trees. You probably wouldn't see him because of the shadowy pattern that he has. In fact, with all 4 of our chameleons, they're actually pretty hard to find every single day. I always check on them every day, obviously multiple times a day because I want to make sure everybody's good. Hi! He just saw my face and he was not happy to see me, let me tell you what. But looking for them is actually kind of hard because of these shadowy patterns they have to help them hide. But that's very, very, important to them in the wild. Thanos, you're fine. Trying to make sure y'all can see him. I'm doing my best. It wants to focus on my face. This is an animal show, camera. You have to focus on animal. This is not a human show. Oh my gosh, it just wants to focus on human. Okay, let's see. But yeah, certain situations, guys, what has happened? Who wants to buy me a camera with autofocus? Let's see. Yes, me too. You love how the eyes act and independently. Yeah, me too. I think that is so neat. Now, when they do find a bug, that's when their eyes are going to go forward and they're going to use them just like we do binocularly. So their eyes are independent until they see something that they want to eat, and the eyes will go forward, and that's when they can focus on that prey and they can grab it with the tongue. That is what happens right before that. Ooh, I just need to stay still right here, I guess. Sorry, guys, dry throat. I get so excited about reptiles that I talk forever and forget to take a drink. Let me see. The same as a cuttlefish. They definitely, I'm pretty sure those are iridophores. So yes, cuttlefish do change color to like blend into things, to communicate, and all kinds of things. They're amazing animals. If you guys have never seen cuttlefish change color, and some of them even change texture and shape, a lot of cephalopods like octopus and squids and cuttlefish, those guys do all kinds of amazing things, and they're super duper intelligent animals as well. Super awesome to look up. I believe those are iridophores. So I think these guys have chromatophores, but they might have iridophores too. Science actually just determined how they change color. It wasn't even that long ago that we thought it was a different method, and it's been totally misproven and restudied. And so that's why I'm not remembering everything completely accurately. I should have looked it up before I came onto the show, but I was busy today. And so it's something for all of us to look up, but it's super new information. So that's why I'm kind of like, second guessing myself, but I think it's chromatophores and maybe iridophores too. But I believe that fish, cuttlefish, and other animals that change color underwater have iridophores, but who knows? Science is always discovering new things, aren't we? When I say science, I mean all of us. Let me see. That is one of the most interesting facts that I love to talk about with chameleons. The tongue, absolutely, me too. Yes, I love their tongue as well. That is amazing. I love their tongue, and it's amazing to watch. I wish we could see a demonstration. So funny you ask, because I do have a video. It's an old video that I usually show. It's actually kind of hard to sneak up on Thanos and get a video of him eating. He certainly will not eat on camera. Maybe that's something that we will train him to do later and get him used to acclimating into that. I believe George might do it, but George is kind of lazy too. Not that Thanos is lazy, but he's nervous around being looked at. So I will have a camera pointing at my chameleons trying to capture that moment, and they're just a little bit too nervous with me standing there to eat. It's just their nature. So a lot of times it's hard to capture that moment, but I do have a video that I'm going to show you right when I set him down. So I will show you. Pretty amazing. Yeah, those guys, hedgehogs too. Super duper different personalities. Each and every animal has their own personality. Each and every human has their own personality, and everybody is an individual, aren't they? Chromatophores too. So do they have iridophores too? I'm wrong. You looking this up for me? Or are you just new? I'm so impressed. So cuttlefish do have chromatophores. Maybe they have both. So yeah, let's learn. Let's learn together. I would love to learn this. It's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of molecular biology-ish, so I don't really care that much. But it is amazing when we think about color change. And the behavioral aspect of it is obviously fantastic. I'm not super into molecular stuff and like things we can't see. So that's just not my thing. That's why I got into zoology instead of molecular biology, right? But of course, something really fascinating to learn. Now he's just looking around and I think enjoying himself now. He seems a little more curious. It's like, why did that hand move? He's gorgeous. I hope this is our cover photo for the video. That would be neat. What else do you guys have to say about him? I think that's it for now. Who has questions about Thanos or any of our two animals that we've seen already? I almost said any of our other animals. It's been a long week, you guys, and it's only Wednesday. But we love to have you guys here on the program every single Wednesday. We are here at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, like clockwork, here in Texas, 6:30 p.m. And the show is free, but if you feel like you want to donate or you want to tip me, that's fantastic. You can do so through Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. And you can also donate to our animals via Amazon wishlist. That's always so much appreciated. Or you can book your own animal encounter that helps to take care of our animals and keep us going. Yes, always researching. So yes, I need to make sure and get solid on that information because I get asked that all the time. But it is new information to my knowledge. It's at least new information to me, right? But I know that they literally have just rediscovered why chameleons change color. They used to think it was one thing and now it's another thing. So that's why my brain goes, wait, because I've been working with reptiles for such a long time. A lot of animals get reclassified. A lot of things are discovered, which is fine. That's one of my favorite things about being an animal person, an animal expert, is I'm not always an expert in something. Things keep changing all the time. We're never perfect. We're never knowing everything, which is awesome. Well, Thanos, I think we should end on this note because you are doing so well, so very calm. I think you're doing fantastic, and I'm so very proud of you. He looks just like a dinosaur up close. I wish you guys could see him in person. Let me tell you what, some of our animals are so beautiful, but this camera does not do them justice. Like, I wish you guys could see him in person. Maybe someday we'll meet in person and you can see. And that would be fantastic. But he is so much more beautiful to your naked eyes. I promise. Yeah, info always changes, for sure. The reclassification of animals always gets to me because I'm like, oh, this animal is classified and related to this, and then it's discovered that they're not. So, or not as closely related as we thought. But it's fascinating all around. Okay, Thanos, you did amazing for your first time. Can you guys see how gold his eyes are? So his eyes, of course, are covered in a kind of a sheath over his eye, as all chameleons are. Sorry, buddy. Ooh. Don't be scared. But the actual iris of his eye is gold. I think that is fantastic. Can y'all see it? There it is. The iris is gold. The pupil is black, just like ours. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Why am I whispering? They can't hear. See the iris? It looks almost like blonde color, but it's actually gold. I love that so very much. Maybe I'll try to get some good photos of him soon. You guys can see. Okay, guys, I'm going to let him rest. He did so well. Back to being focused on me. Bam! It's easy when there's no animal in my hand. Okay, Thanos, you can hang out somewhere. You definitely can't leave. That is not a thing. You have to go down. There we go. There we go. He's like, up, I want to be arboreal. That is their, of course, instinct. I'm trying to put him into his travel enclosure, and he's just trying to crawl up my arm. Anyway, let me get a drink really fast. Stickers can be purchased at onceinawild.com. That also helps us out. Dry throat. I've been talking all day. Had a program this morning and been talking on the phone all day, and now here I am talking to you guys, and I'm happy to do it all. You and Thanos. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for clarifying your comment and compliment. Thank you so much. We love you. I don't know if I love you more or I miss you more, Tanja. Me and Tanja used to work together, and I miss her so very much. Okay, so we've met two. This is 4, but we've met 2 animals. I can do simple math, guys. We've met 2 animals already that really aren't the best for handling per se, right? Frogs can be affected by our greasy, oily human hands. And, of course, they might be nervous to be picked up in the wild. Please don't pick up wildlife. That is always a good PSA to say, right? If you are noticing animals in your own backyard, or you're camping, or you're traveling, or you're doing something outside and you see animals, don't pick them up. Enjoy them by taking photos. Enjoy them from a distance. Leave them alone. They're there for a reason, and they want to be left alone, and they're probably terrified of you. Also, some animals might harm you. We don't want you to be getting harmed, so our advice is to leave them alone. If you ever have an animal in your environment, your own backyard, your home that you don't want there, always call a professional. Please do not handle getting rid of animals on your own. Now, I'm not talking to you herpetologists and animal experts and etc. That is not who I'm talking to. You guys are fine. I'm sure you know what you're doing. I'm talking to the general public, so I just want to make sure that everybody knows that. Leave animals alone to do their jobs. They have many jobs that are very important. Every animal has its place, and every animal is important, and they should be left to do their job. Now, I'm not talking about invasive species either. I'm talking about animals that are native to the natural environment. So we've met a chameleon. We met a frog. Both of those animals aren't the best for handling, by the way. If you're interested in a pet frog, not you, Tanja, but some people do want pet frogs out there. If you're interested in a pet or animal companion chameleon, not the best for handling. They do stress out with a lot of handling. Get yourself a bearded dragon or a leopard gecko or maybe a blue-tongued skink in that case if you're looking for a handleable lizard that's very manageable and can do well with handling from time to time. Chameleon's not the best. They're more for looking at. They're definitely not a beginner species to house if you are not familiar with keeping reptiles. There are many, many others I would recommend way before a chameleon. They're very fragile and very specialized. And again, nervous. So frogs too. Frogs are not too hard to take care of depending on the species, but again, not a super cuddly animal to have as like a little pet to hold and love. even though I want to. But let's meet an animal that, in my opinion, is fantastic for handling for almost anyone, if you happen to like this type of animal. And one of my very, very favorite animals, actually one of my tattoos on my arm. So this animal right here, can you see it? There's many tattoos on my arm, of course, but this one right here, the snake, it is gold with a red belly. Of course, this is an artistic rendition of this species, but it is a Baird's rat snake. I thought I would show you guys not just how much that Francis is growing, but how much that this guy is growing. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Come here, you crazy rat snake. This is a Baird's rat snake, and this is Midas. Midas, the Baird's rat snake. He is our male. We do have a pair here at Once in a Wild. They are still young. But look at him, he's so beautiful. This is another animal that absolutely does not do justice, or justice is not served, I should say, under camera lighting and things like that. This animal is to die for in person. Now, of course, my arm, it's gold with a red belly. You might be wondering, what the heck? That doesn't look like the snake. But this is a baby version of that snake that I have tattooed on my arm. So when it comes to being a Baird's rat snake, Baird was actually the scientist that originally, I guess, got to name the Baird's rat snake or discover that. There's also a Baird's tapir, which is the South American mammal. Pretty cool. Now, the Baird's rat snake lives in Texas and Mexico. There are two subspecies that are a little bit different looking. The Texas Baird's rat snake is what we have here. And the Baird's rat snake, sorry, the Texas Baird's rat snake is what we have here. And the Mexican Baird's rat snake is another subspecies. That's what I meant to say. The one on my tattoo is actually a Baird's rat snake. Guys, Texas Baird's rat snake is this, starting over. There's the Texas Baird's rat snake, and there's the Mexican Baird's rat snake. The one on my tattoo is a Mexican Baird's rat snake. There we go. I got it on the third try. And this is a Texas Baird's rat snake. They are slightly different looking as adults. But what's really fun about the Baird's rat snake, and my most favorite thing about them, other than their fantastic personality and handleability is what I should say, they are so sweet, so docile, the best of the best. And they're kind of like a corn snake. Corn snakes are also awesome. You guys laughing at me. Go ahead and make fun of me. It's fine. This is live. It's hard. This is difficult. It's been a long day and a long week. But these guys change color. So they don't change color like a chameleon, but when they're born, they look a lot different. They hatch out of an egg, like all of your rat snakes do. Not all snakes lay eggs, but all rat snakes lay eggs. And these guys do hatch out of eggs when they are born or hatched, etc. And they look a little bit different as babies, and they do this. And they look even more different when they become a mature adult. So as they shed, as you know, snakes shed their skin as they grow, right? You guys know that. But this type of snake, like other types of snakes, but this much more dramatically, in my opinion, one of my favorite things about them is they change color with each and every shed. So this snake could end up being silver. It could end up being gold. It could end up being silver and gold. They start off with a banded pattern. You can kind of see a little bit of that remaining on the snake. There's kind of little saddles on his back. Little spots, kind of, sort of, right? Especially when I go back this way, you can see him. They look like little bow ties on his back. Super cute. By the time he becomes an adult, though, he will have stripes all the way down his back instead of those little saddles. So those will go away. He will have stripes all the way down his body. Pretty amazing. Baird's rat snake. All Baird's rat snake, each and every single individual looks totally different. They are amazing. I love them. And I love them so much that I got a tattoo of them. The Mexican Baird's rat snake, in my opinion, is just a little bit prettier. They have a gray, solid head and usually a gold body, or a gold and silver body. But each and every one has their own kind of like fingerprint, just like a lot of animals do. But what's amazing is the variety you can actually see with this species from individual to individual. So not only personality, but also coloration. Pretty awesome. They have a really cute pink tongue. See if you can see his tongue. See the pink tongue? It's so cute. Not very many snakes have a pink tongue, almost like a cartoon. Oh my gosh, adorable. Let's see if we can see him a little better. He's moving around a lot. The snake is much better with being handled than our other two animals, so I'm just going to enjoy myself. But they do change color with each and every shed, and as they age, they're going to look different and different and different. So as an adult, they look like a totally different animal. Awesome. I named him Midas because he might end up being gold. If he's silver, but he still has a beautiful gold belly. Look at his belly. It is so gold and beautiful, which is why my tattoo has a red belly and a gold body, because usually their belly is a different color than their dorsal. So on an animal, the dorsal is the back or the top side. An easy way to remember dorsal is like a dorsal fin on a dolphin, right? So we're kind of weird animals. We stand upright, but if we were like this, like most animals, running around with 4 legs instead of 2, we would have a dorsal, which is your back. So the snake's dorsal is their back, and the ventral is their belly. So their belly or ventral looks different than their dorsal. On this animal right now, who knows what he'll look like in 6 months, but this animal right now is more silver and has kind of spots on the dorsal, and more gold on the belly. Whoa, and actually will have kind of like almost like a solid gold belly. And I tell you what, like under these lights is not doing him justice in the camera. To the naked eye, he is just gorgeous. And he also has brownish gold eyes too. I noticed that it might look like I'm handling him a little rough. It's just because he's a small snake and I keep moving back and forth. This snake is super tough. Please don't worry about him. He is enjoying every single minute of this, I think. They do not care. This is one of my favorite snake species to handle. Some rat snakes are kind of cantankerous. They're kind of defensive. No snake wants to harm a human. Some of them just feel a little nervous around humans, of course, and rightly so. A lot of humans do harm snakes. So you can't really blame a wild animal for being wild and wanting to defend its own life. That always gets me every time is snakes get, of course, persecuted and hated on and killed sometimes just for being themselves. And if any other animal was trying to defend itself, we would understand. But for some reason, a lot of humans don't understand why a snake is trying to defend themselves. And so they kill a snake, which is really, really sad. That's one of our goals here at Once in a Wild, is to dispel myths about snakes being evil, ugly monsters. They are just not. They are just animals just like everybody else. People love lizards and not snakes, and I don't understand. A lot of lizards eat the same thing that snakes eat, which is rodents and other animals. And people like them better than snakes. I think it's because people are a little bit nervous around animals that are different than us. They don't have any legs. They're very, very different. They move differently than us. They might be a little bit strange to people that are unfamiliar with snakes. Also, a lot of people assume that snakes are all poisonous, or some of them are poisonous, so we should just kill them. But please don't do that, because even the venomous snakes actually do have a very important task at hand, which is, again, eating all kinds of rodents. That's going to help us to not get sick. We need to make sure to stay as healthy as possible these days, and having more disease is always bad, right? So having less disease, good. Why? How can we have less disease? Well, we have more snakes to eat those rodents and things that can cause disease. It seems so simple, and it's like, well, duh to me, but not everybody knows that, right? And one thing we can actually do to help snakes is by not poisoning their food, just like we talked about with the frogs. So with frogs, we use spray, right, in their backyard to get rid of bugs, and that's all poison. We're straight poisoning their food, and then it poisons all the other animals down the line. Poisons the frogs, poison the animals that eat the frog, poison the animals that ate the frog, that ate that. Goes right down the line, right? Really bad. Same thing with rats and mice. A lot of times people have in the past, or still do, use rat or mouse poison. That is really bad, because a lot of predators eat mice and rats. Owls eat them, hawks eat them, eagles and hawks and owls are all protected, but somehow we are still allowed to use poison on their food. It makes no sense to me. Also, items like sticky traps are really terrible. They should not be legal. All kinds of animals get stuck to sticky traps, like snakes. Birds get stuck to sticky traps. So sticky traps, if you don't know, they're basically like a strip that has sticky properties, and it's extremely strong glue. And bugs, roaches, rats, mice will get stuck to that. And number one, it's a terrible, very cruel death, in my opinion, to just starve to death stuck to a sticky trap. Not good for the animal being eliminated either. It's no matter, even if an animal is a pest, we don't want to be cruel to the animal when we are disposing of them, right? So we want to make sure that's done in a humane way. That's what I'm trying to say. So sticky traps, terrible. Animals get stuck to them, and then the predator sees that, like, ooh, that mouse or rat or roach or fly or whatever isn't moving. It's super easy to catch. And what do? They fly or pounce or slither right onto that sticky trap, and they also get stuck. And then they starve to death too. It's really awful. And it goes right down the line, like we said. So we have to use responsibility. Having more predators is the best way to responsibly eliminate those prey animals that we talked about that are too numerous sometimes. Another way is by using humane traps. There's all kinds of other methods that we can do some research. It just takes a little bit of work, takes a little bit of research. You can call professionals to help you. There are many, many pest control services that do responsible things instead of irresponsible ways to eliminate pests. Because we can't just let pests be around. We would get sick and we would get injured and things. So there's all kinds of other methods that we can do. It just takes a little bit of work. Don't be lazy. Do the right thing, right? That's what we can do to help all wildlife around us. So fortunately, this isn't an endangered species, and neither are any of the animals that we met today. But that doesn't mean that they can't become endangered later. In fact, any animal could suddenly become endangered. A lot of animals this year and last year became endangered that weren't endangered before because of environmental changes and non-environmental changes and all kinds of both man-made and non-man-made changes. For example, the wildfires in Australia. A lot of animals actually became endangered after the fact because of environmental change. That's a very extreme example of environmental change. So just because an animal is not endangered right now doesn't mean they shouldn't be loved and protected and admired, and hopefully they won't become endangered. So it takes a lot to for an animal to actually be considered endangered. I don't know if you guys know that. But luckily, not yet. Bears, rat snakes, panther chameleons, and African bullfrogs are doing just fine. Panther chameleons, though, are a little bit more vulnerable to becoming endangered down the line, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, because they already live in an island. So all panther chameleons are from Madagascar. Madagascar is a great big island, but it's still an island. And all island species across the board already suffer from the possibility of that pressure. So they only live in that one area. They can't like swim across the ocean and move. So if something happens to Madagascar, that's all they have to live. Many animals on Madagascar are endangered, such as lemurs and other animals. So a lot of people know that. But lizards and other animals live in Madagascar too. So they're probably, unfortunately, going to become endangered too, just because they live in the same area where habitat loss is extremely prominent right now. Unfortunately, the rainforest is disappearing all over the world, including Madagascar. So enough Debbie Downer talk. I just want to make you guys aware that we can have a lot to do with animals being saved. We definitely have the power to save animals and protect them every single day by small choices that we make every day that are extremely important. Recycling, picking up trash, not using poison to poison their food, not using chemicals to spray all over them, etc. It seems like when you think about it like that, it seems like, oh, well, of course. But a lot of us have done all that. I've done that before too. I've accidentally thrown trash on the ground. Not me. Yes, I have. I'll admit it right now. I know better now. I know better than to not use chemicals on my yard now. But it's something that I've had to learn. So that's why I'm here. I'm trying to teach everybody out there that may not know and may not understand. So if you guys ever have any questions about any of that, I'm always learning all the time, but I'm more than happy to help you guys out with ideas and things. If you guys have ideas for us that we can teach the public, that would be fantastic. If you ever have ideas for our programs every single week that are free of charge for you guys, please suggest some ideas down below. Kind of running out of ideas. I kind of just like sometimes just pick animals to bring onto the show. I would love to hear y'all's suggestions. Sometimes we theme our programs. Sometimes I keep it more casual, like today. Oh, such a beautiful snake. But it really kind of just depends on how much time I have as well. But I would love to hear your suggestions. Sometimes we talk about pet care. Sometimes we talk about endangered species. Sometimes we talk about my career as a zookeeper. Sometimes we talk about what other zookeepers do. This Saturday, we have another fun collaboration. Just for the fun of it, we have a fun story time with Priscilla, who is she's a podcaster. And you guys are really going to like her story time. It's all about her puppy dog and kind of fictional stories about her dog's adventures. It's super duper cute and just for fun. And she's actually going to include some of our cute animals in her next story on her podcast. I believe she's going to announce it on her podcast as well. But she's going to come onto our show this Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, of course, to just be on the video with us and talk about animals and have fun and just tell some stories. And that should be a lot of fun. So we hope to see you guys on Saturday as well as next Wednesday. And please stay tuned to our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already and let everybody know that we're out there. We're trying to get more subscribers on YouTube. Yay. Please follow us on all of our social media. All those links are readily available at onceinawild.com, but that will help you to actually keep track of what we're doing week to week because things change on a day-to-day basis around here. We're actually getting involved with a whole bunch of events. We have a Halloween event coming up. We have a day before Halloween collaboration with Once Upon a Party. Once again, that's going to be so exciting. So please stay tuned to our social media. That's what I'm trying to say, so you can keep up with what the heck is happening with Once in a Wild. But it's been so awesome to have you guys on. I love seeing Tandra. I love seeing Richard and everybody else. Donna, of course. Who else was on here? Reginald. So nice to see you. Jeffrey. Amanda, I think, was on here as well. Maybe she wasn't, just Jeffrey this time. Oh, no problem. Nice to have each and every one of you guys. And whoever didn't chime in, Bonnie, I'm sure your grandkids are watching, your grandchild, I think, watches. So nice to see each and every one of you. We love all of our friends, family, and followers. And thank you so very much. It means the world to us that you guys watch our programs and hang out with me. And if you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to type them in down below. If I don't get to your question in time, don't worry. I always answer them later. So I think Midas did a fantastic job. He's one of my favorite snakes. But I love snakes in general. Can you tell? Can you tell? He's hanging out with his counterpart right there on my tattoo. How cool is that? Maybe that'll be our cover photo for this live stream. How can you not love them? I don't get it. All right. Oh, wonderful. Hello to them as well. Hello, everyone. It is so wonderful to have you guys in our life, and it really means the world to us. So with that being said, I'm not going to get too emotional. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you guys next time here at Once in a Wild. We are nothing close to ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold our hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing Once in a Wild. Together. Once in a Wild. I want to hear you say Once in a Wild. Never fun for me and you. Okay, you guys, we'll see you next time here on our Wednesday show at 6:30 p.m. Central on Facebook and YouTube. But we hope to see you again for our extra show this Saturday on Facebook and YouTube at 11 a.m. Central. And if you need anything, go to onceinawild.com or contact the number down below. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.